I learned something a few months ago, and my life just hasn't been the same since. I had such a high level of peace and understanding from what I learned through spirituality, but then I became convinced that I fell into sort of a new age trap of love and light that what I now believe was carefully seeded into society. Watching things like Gaia, listening to podcasts, and reading all sorts of books, looking back, it's easy to see how I felt like I had such a good, well rounded understanding of how all of this works. But what if I told you that pretty much all of the mainstream spiritual teachers don't know what I'm talking about in this video? And that the further they move people away from the real truth, the more they're actually favored in the algorithms. Feels very conspiratorial, but well, that's starting to feel very true these days as well. So, yes, these are some pretty crazy accusations that I'm making here, but honestly, this line of strategic planning of this spiritual information, I really believe it runs deep and it runs long, back at least 100 years, and it's been carefully placed there for the spiritual seekers who are kind of waking up, and they're ready to figure out and discover what is actually happening in this reality and on earth. So that's for new age spirituality. I think that it's at least 100 years, but when you take something like religion, which a lot of people are finding a lot of understanding and peace with nowadays, there's just like this growing love for especially Christianity, because there's just so much chaos in the world, and that's what makes sense. But religion that's something that has been used for what I believe now is population control for probably a few hundred years. Basically, it was created that way to control the human population, because we're pretty easy to control. We're very emotional, we're very loving, we play into duality very easily. We want things to be very simple. We have very simple minds, and we're easily influenced. I mean, we see this right now in the age of experts, where we're all just seeming to gravitate to the experts of the world, those who are certified to be talking about what they are, and and all that. I think it's the basis is just false as well, and there's too much weight given to the experts of the day, and we see that in things like AI, where it's weighted, and they're given priority. Those sources that are from the experts are given priority in the information that you get from AI, using the large language model, of course, the most popular model of AI of the day. Yeah, like I said, spirituality, it has given me a lot of peace and understanding, and it still does. But what I'm talking about in this video is it's the mainstream part of it. Okay. This is we're talking about, like the New York Times bestseller list of spiritual authors and what they have to put out there. And I'm not saying no, it's so horrible, but what I'm actually trying to start with, beginning with this video, is that this is it's not totally accurate. And there's some very fundamental things that are keeping the spiritual seekers to themselves, being quiet, because if you're watching this and you are somebody who is in search of the spiritual perspective and understanding, you're the most threatening to the structures, the power structures here on earth. So from that standpoint, it does actually make a lot of sense why this would have been foreseen and energy was put into the management of us spiritual seekers coming to earth, waking up, and really having the ability to grasp concepts very quickly, to not be so rigid and attached as our previous generations were, our parents and our parents' parents. Us younger generations, we're much more likely to observe and have our own unique thoughts on what we believe is actually going on. And I think that's honestly, that's like that's my hope. That's what's keeping me going in this world. So yeah, this idea of us being kind of managed as spiritual seekers, it's in what was kind of referred to early on as the New Age content, right? As if it's like, hey, here are the answers. Here are the answers, and here's what they are. So yeah, right now I'm sorting through what's real, what's not. That's why I'm doing this video, because I want to clear out what I've perceived to be now as toxic to my understanding of what's actually going on. And well, for me, I'm one that really wants to know. I want to sort through it. So I tend to philosophize on these matters. I really want to figure out, okay, what do I believe? Why do I believe that? I'm very open-minded. I want to challenge my beliefs. And so that's why I'm starting this channel. I'm doing these videos, and that's why I'm here. Because I want to talk about it, and I want to see if anybody else out there is feeling the same way as me. So I want to give you some examples of what exactly I'm talking about. I'm talking about the love and light rose-colored glass mentality, okay? That's for one. Vegetarianism being another. I was a vegan for 14 years. Emphasis on the was, because I'm no longer, because of what I'm talking about here. And there being a plan for humanity, and there being a spiritual hierarchy. And these are the things that I'm starting to question. And I had believed from a lot of the books that I was reading and teachers that I was following. And so lately I've been asking, why is this important? Why can't people just continue, especially spiritual people? Why can't spiritual people, spiritually awakened people, just continue living in their utopian paradigm? Why is that such a bad thing? And I believe that, of course, like you can. But if you're open to another perspective, if that's part of your personality, if you're available to that, then you can be open to what I have to share, which is, well, there's been some manipulation going on that we have been seeing coming for a long time. And I would say at least 100 years ago that we started to become managed by some very powerful groups of people on Earth. And for me, when I first heard that, it really bothered me. It really bothered me because I want to know the truth. That's why I really enjoyed my spiritual awakening, because it gave me such a sense of understanding. But as I was going along, especially recently moving into 2025, man, like things were just feeling so chaotic. And that's like, I feel like now we're in the summer of 2025 when I'm recording this, and it's just ramped up even more. And I really found a whole new set, a whole new level of understanding come from knowing that there has been manipulation. And that no, like you aren't crazy for thinking that this is some conspiracy, because it actually makes a lot of sense. And so it's helped me out a lot. I would say that I'm not going to lie though. Like I think my overall level of joy has decreased a little bit, but I think some of that has come from me really just wanting to know where I stand, where I felt like I was led astray, and how I can package this up and potentially share it with other people so they can see this for themselves and they can decide if this is something that makes sense to them, if this is something that they think that they should be pursuing. But I will say not all of us care about these things, and I can tell you that my wife, she's into it. She's open to it. She also finds a lot of understanding with it, but is this what she really wants to spend her energy on? No. She would rather focus on what she feels like her service is in her lifetime. And for me, I completely respect that. And so we're not all going to be into what I'm talking about here. But like I said, if you're out there and you're like, wow, this is kind of interesting. If you watch this video and you're just like, I don't know if I can really buy into it. Let me further also just say that in my experience, the people who have had their spiritual awakening and they believe they know exactly what's going on, they're almost even harder to change their opinions. And now that's not what I'm trying to do here, but I'm just making you aware of something that I've observed, is that coincidentally, shockingly, people who do consider themselves to be spiritually advanced are also some of the most closed off people to new information. So if that's you, hey, maybe there's something there for you. But like I said, it's just an invitation. There's no judgment here. And leave a comment if this resonates with you at all. But maybe I'll see you in another video.